And welcome, my friends. It is World Children's Day. That means you lot, World Children's Day. The world is yours on this Children's Day. My name is Mr Dilly. I've got some brilliant guests coming up. We've got 3 authors coming up and 2 illustrators coming up today. So today is World Children's Day. It was first established, 70 years ago. 70 years ago in 1954. It was then called not World Children's Day. It was called Universal Children's Day. And it's celebrated every year across the world on the 20th of November, which is today, to encourage kind of international togetherness, if you like, feeling together, awareness among children worldwide, you guys, and improving children's kind of well-being and health and welfare and all kinds of things like that. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you a little video. It starts up quite slowly and then jumps in a bit faster. This is from UNICEF, which are kind of an organization that help children across the planet. And then we're going to be straight in to my first guest. Oh, by the way, make sure you have your pens and pencils ready because we do have 2 draw-alongs coming up for you later today from our illustrator guests. But this is a little video from UNICEF, and then we're going to meet our first guest. So get ready, my friends. Here we go.
Imagine a day I had a voice. A day where I was heard, listened to, and understood. Imagine a moment I could voice my message, a message for the world to hear. To take a stand, be important, be seen, be at the front, raise my voice, tell the world what's on my heart. Even if it's just for one day.
Today is the day of every girl and every boy who have raised their voice for their rights.
And the biggest dreamers are kids.
Just freedom allow me to have a voice.
Through the world's media, politics, business, sports, music, and entertainment, we want to give voice to the children in our global village. On World Children's Day, let's stand together for the world's most vulnerable and hardest to reach children. There can be no keener revelation of a society's soul than the way it treats its children. World Children's Day. For every child.
Brilliant stuff there. Thank you for UNICEF letting us show that video. Now, I have a question for you. The question is this. Who is afraid of the big bad wolf? I can't hear you. Who is afraid of the big bad wolf? Still can't hear you. Come on, a little bit louder, a little bit louder. Who is afraid of the big bad wolf? Well, you may well be, but certainly not Gina Kaminski. So to tell us more, let's welcome my first guest today, the wonder that is Mr. Craig Barr-Green. Round of applause, Craig Barr-Green. Give us a big, big wave, Craig. How are you?
Hello, Mr. Dilly. Hello, children of the world. This is your day.
It's fantastic. Really great to have you with us today, Craig. So I gave you that sort of introduction there. Who's afraid of the big bad wolf? Now, obviously, people children watching may recognize that from a pretty famous fairy tale, but this is a whole different kind of look at that fairy tale. So I'm going to hand over to you, and Craig's going to tell us a bit more about his wonderful new book and a sort of a different take on the big bad wolf, Little Red Riding Hood tale. So Craig, I hand over to you. Give us a little fill in on that.
Of course, yeah. Now, when I was at school, I loved reading stories. And I spent all my time in the school libraries and the library and any book I could get hold of. But I always wondered, wouldn't it be cool if you could change stories, change the endings? And then one day I saw this book. It was given to me. This is a very, very old copy of the Little Red Riding Hood. And I thought, I think the wolf gets a really bad ending. And in this story, Little Red Riding Hood has to take a cake to Granny's house, and then everything goes wrong. And then I thought, wouldn't it be cool if we could have a character that could go into the story and change things? And this is my character, Gina Kaminski. There are 2 books in the Gina Kaminski story. And I'm going to read you today a little bit of Gina Kaminski Saves the Wolf. Now, there's some things to know about in this book. One is Gina Kaminski, she fixes mistakes. She's a problem solver. She's an adventurer. Gina Kaminski is also autistic, like me. So she sees and experiences and hears the world in different ways. Now, there are 3 things that are definitely going to happen in this book. And I'm going to read you a little bit today. There's a wolf, and that's the sign for wolf. There's also some dangerous woods. That's the sign for woods. Woods. And there is also, best of all, the thing that is very close to my heart. Cake. I love cake.
Okay, I'm just going to give you a round of applause on the cake. Well done. I'll let you carry on.
Woohoo! I love cake. So now you're going to, at the beginning of this book, you'll see something here. Da, 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 da. Now this is a mood chart, an emotions board. These are all the things that we can feel. Sometimes people have difficulty explaining how they feel. If they're feeling sad or annoyed or angry or excited. And we're going to see a little bit of in this book. You may have this in your classroom. So let's go. There's Gina in her classroom. School is rubbish today. And there are 3 reasons why. 1, the classroom is too hot. 2, the classroom is too smelly. 3, worst of all, the classroom is too loud. Using my chart, I'm feeling like this. So using her chart, feeling like, I'll do a sad face. I go to the reading room with Anya. Here I am in my own reading room. The reading room is not too hot, too smelly, or too loud. And Anya says she will read to me and gives me a choice between 2 books. Now, on this bookshelf, there are 2 books. One is called The Big Book of Wolves, and the other one is called Uh-oh, Little Red Riding Hood. I don't like choosing. Choosing is... Ugh. So Anya picks The Little Red Riding Hood. And very quickly, this is what happens in the story. Now, if you don't know this story, brace yourself. You're not going to believe this. This is what happens in Little Red Riding Hood. 1, Little Red Riding Hood's mum gives her a cake to take to Granny. 2, Little Red Riding Hood takes a shortcut through the dangerous woods. Why? And meets a talking wolf. 3, the wolf eats Granny and gets into her bed, but this woodcutter arrives with an axe, and it's a bad ending for the wolf. Using my chart, the ending is, I'm going to do my annoyed face. That girl and the wolf make 3 big mistakes, I say. Tell me more, and then I have an idea. I'm going to leave that to you to see what Gina Kaminski does next to save the wolf.
That's a brilliant. So it leaves it right on a cliffhanger there. You've got to get yourself a copy. It's really, really good fun. Really good fun. And as I said, it's really good because it kind of looks at this from a child's eyes, but in kind of like a whole different way. And a lot of us can identify with that as well. I've got a question for you, Craig. And we're going to have Francis Martin on in a minute, who illustrated Gina Kaminski as well. And he's going to lead you all through a sort of a draw along to complement the book as well. But quick question for you, Craig, which was sent in from Ormiston Academy in Great Yarmouth. Did you write stories when you were a child?
I did. I wrote loads. I was always writing stories, and I liked writing plays and comedy sketches. So when you write all the words that actors can say, and then me and my friends we would read them all out.
Did you used to act it all out, write little plays and
yeah, just like ourselves. So I was always reading and always writing. So
that's brilliant.
Yes, good question.
Almost in a quite academy. Okay, let's bring Francis in. We've got a couple of questions for both of you for this, and then we're going to go to Francis's draw along. So, Francis, hello, sir. Look at Francis is all good to go. Look, so this is Craig Francis.
Yeah, I've even got Arabic. Gina,
have you got one in Arabic?
All over the world.
Is it really? That is unbelievable. That's amazing.
Yeah, and it's written the other way round. It's incredible.
Yeah, because they read right to left, don't they? So it's the other way around. Just so for an extra
let
me have a little question for you. This is kind of from me, really. So, what's the most fun or I guess challenging part of combining words and pictures to tell a story? Would you say? Shall I start with you, Francis, for this?
The fun bit is, well, I just love drawing anyway, and it's trying to say things in the picture that aren't obviously in the writing, or that it's adding something to the writing. You're not just doing the same thing as the writing. You're not sort of saying Gina wore a red top. You're kind of like having to do things about show her expressions or show how she's, whether the other feelings that you can tell from the writing. Is that very
that's quite hard. Anything, Craig, you like to add to that? Is there any particular way that in terms of working with an illustrator the other way around kind of thing?
I love it. I can't draw anything. I can draw the smiley faces. So I do the words and then I hand it over to these magicians who know how to draw, and these characters just pop up like this. It's amazing. So
I always think that's amazing. It must be so brilliant as a writer to sort of, and quite scary as well, to see your words brought to life by someone obviously you get to know, but maybe initially you don't know. And so basically they just bring your words. So it must be a magical, amazing thing. Okay, so magical. Let me, we've got now a quick question. So why did this is World Children's Day. So why do you think stories are actually important for children all over the world? Why do you think stories are important? So Craig, I'll start with you again for that. So why are they important for all over the world in terms of, I don't know, I'll hand over to you. You answer that. Let me know.
Yeah, I mean, stories are so important. Every story we read allows us to see the world through another pair of eyes and to experience that world through, another character. And that's what reading Gina is doing. It allows you to see the world through Gina's eyes. And the more stories we read, the more we learn about other people's lives, and the happier we will be living with other people. And I mean, and the children of the world who are online now, that's really important, because everything that's good that's ever going to happen is going to come from you. All the best jokes and the best cakes and all of that. So
that is very, very true.
Allows you to do that.
Absolutely. Yeah. What about you, Francis? That's really, really great. Francis, anything you'd like to add to that at all? Is that kind of?
I just think we can't help but tell stories. I think it's not whether it's good or bad. It's just what we do. It's how we look at the past, how we look at the things that are in our heads, the things that are outside our heads. We just enjoy telling stories. You couldn't stop us telling stories.
And that is very, very true. It's kind of in all of us, and we've all got our own story. Everybody sitting down, watching now, sitting in your classroom now. Each of you have got your own story. The way that you see, even like looking around in the classroom today, what you see for each other, what you're even learning from this. It's all gives you your own unique story, your own unique take on how you see the world, and that's very much links to Gina Kaminski and Saves the Wolf as well, because it's got the same kind of thing. It's her own unique take and Craig's own unique take on this incredible, wonderful story that we're all familiar with, but now with a big twist, which is fantastic. Listen, Craig, we're going to get you back slightly after. We're going to have Francis draw along, get you back after for a couple of questions each, and then we're going to move on from now. So for now, big round of applause, Craig Barr-Green. Thank you very much. There we go. Speak to you in a minute, Craig. And now, Francis, I'm going to hand over to you for the draw along. So everybody,
make sure I'm in view.
Get your pens and pencils ready, and this is a Gina Kaminski draw along. Here we go. So I'll hand over to you, Francis. Here we go.
Okay, doing this today has made me feel boom, boom. There. Anyone just wants to start doing emoticons, showing how you feel. I feel happy. Now, when I'm doing a drawing, I always like starting off with the light color first. How many minutes have I got? I've got a bright yellow here. So Gina Designing her clothes was the fun bit of it. I just kind of had to find out what she was wearing. So this is her t-shirt that she wears under her tabard. Always start off with the light colours. You can always go over the top of them. And you get these lovely yellows. Boom, boom. Okay, that's her tabard. Then, I'm lucky. I've got lots of brushes. Oh, that's what I dreamt of when I was a kid. Now, her dress is red. She likes her outfit. First thing when I read about Gina was knowing that she was very smart. She liked her outfits and she knew what suited her. She sometimes finds life a little bit stressful, but she's got a bit of confidence about her. Ooh, I think I've only got 4 minutes to do this drawing. Okay, now let's make Gina start to happen. Oops, I forgot. She also likes her bunches. Her bunches are yellow. I hope you can keep up with this with your pens and paper, but this is the bit where Gina will start to appear. Now, where's my black paint? I always used to like cartoons and comics. So you draw nice black lines. Gina's hair goes from her right to her left. That's kind of her look. And her hair all goes in to the bunch. Anyone out there got bunches? Hair bits? There you go. Boom, boom, boom. Whoops. And there her hair goes over the smiley face. Now. There, we're starting to see Gina. Ooh. Now, her ears are just underneath her bunches. Boom, boom, boom. And she's got a lovely, cute chin. I think she's just the cutest character. Do you know what? I don't feel like I actually invented Gina. I just think she was there waiting for me. And then she said, "Hello, Francis. Here I am. This is what I look like, and you better draw me good." Whoops, boom, boom. And legs on. Now, one of the things I always keep forgetting, Gina, part of her look is the spotty tights. And they're red spots. Boom, 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 boom. Ooh, back to the black. Oh, gosh. Now, Gina's face. Now, eye, and the cutest nose. And is she happy to see you? Yes, she's very happy to see you. Now, another part of Gina I knew, because I used to have these when I was little, is freckles. Gina has 5 freckles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. Her shoes. I don't know what shoes everyone out there wears, but Gina, I knew she'd like the ones that have the Velcro, you know, so you don't have to waste time doing the laces. And boom, boom, boom. And who's Gina's best friend? Quickly, because I can see Mr Dilly wants me to finish. The wolf. 3 triangles. 1, 2, 3. Eyes. Give me a little smile and his furry face. Oh, that is.
Look at that. Wonderful. That is beautiful. Honestly, that is so beautiful. That is so beautiful. Now, if you had trouble drawing along at the same time, you obviously can watch back and watch Francis do this again and sort of pause it and do it at your own pace after the show on the same link. So that's all good. So, Francis, that's wonderful. Let's get Craig back very, very quickly. We've got one question, then we've got a video, then we're into my next guest. Here we go. So, look at that, Craig. Brought to life again, isn't it?
Wow, that was awesome.
I know, it's amazing. It's really, I love watching draw lines. It just sort of appears, doesn't it? It's incredible. So, quick question for both of you now. So, Craig, let's go. Why is Craig first, World Children's Day important, do you think?
It's really important because everything everything that at some point in the world needs to be done is going to be done by you, the children. So when I'm an old man and we're all old men, all you children of the world now, you're going to be the ones who are in charge. You're going to be making things and doing things and making the decisions. So that's amazing. And that's why World Children's Day is so important, to make sure that everyone gets the opportunity to have books and to be safe and to have a world that allows them to grow up and be these brilliant people of the future.
That's a great answer. And Francis, anything you'd like to add to that?
Oh, children, you know the best way to have fun. When people like Mr. Dilly, Craig, me, when sometimes we want to kind of have fun, to have joy, we know that the child that, you know, wherever was running around in North London and then as a little kid, that's where we find some of our joy. And really, I know it's not there for every child, but the children who can have fun really have fun and enjoy it, and because you'll be living off that fun for the rest of your life.
That is very, very true. It's a good answer. Listen, it's been an absolute joy to have both of you on as well today. All the best of luck with Gina, Kaminski, both the books, in fact. Brilliant to see. Francis, love the draw along. Craig, love hearing you speak and your enthusiasm, both of you, for the whole thing in World Children's Day. Great to be on. Let's give everybody watching the class, Francis and Craig, a big round of applause. I'm going to give you a round of applause. Come on, louder round of applause. And give us a big, big wave. Thanks, Francis.
Bye-bye.
Nice to see you.
Happy World Children's Day.
Happy World
Craig.
Children's
Thank you
Day.
very much.
It's
That's Craig Barr-Green, Francis Martin. Weren't they brilliant? Look at that. Brilliant, brilliant guest. Okay, we're going to have another little video. This is World Children's Day video from UNICEF again, in which grown-ups ask children for some help and advice. Let's see what happens. And then we're back with my next guest, which is Tessa Gearing. So let's have a quick look at this. Here we go.
Yeah,
Let's get cracking.
Hey guys,
Hi.
I need some advice. Are you guys okay to help me out?
Yeah.
If your parents let you make all the decisions in one day, what would you do? You have the power.
I have the power. I can eat whatever I want.
What would you eat?
Probably salmon.
I love salmon.
What's the one thing you would say to grown-ups that they should do?
You should have a really good bank account.
A really good bank account.
Looking at adults, they don't seem to have that much fun. They just read a book by the corner. We would have to keep having fun. We could never let the fun stop.
Well, what should I get if I was going to get a pet? Something different.
A whale?
A whale, oh.
I find it quite difficult sometimes to concentrate.
Drink some water, look around, and ta-da.
Happy World Children's Day.
Look at that. Drink some water, look around, and ta-da! That's all you need to do in life. Let's welcome my next guest, the wonderful Tessa Gearing. Here we go. Hands together. Tessa and friend. Tessa and friend. How are you, Tessa?
Hi, and hello
Nice to
from
see you.
Ian today.
Look at that. That's brilliant. So is that an actual live thing from your book? Is that an actual?
This is my alien from the book. Yes, he's been so excited to see you all today, so he had to come along.
Look at that. That's brilliant. So Tessa, there is an alien in. Oh, look at this. You better hold it up. You got it's weird on my screen. There's an alien in my lunchbox. So tell us, this is your first children's picture book. Is that correct?
Yes, it
So,
is.
okay, so tell us all about it. So we're going to hand over to Tessa. Tell us a bit about the book, and then we've got a couple of questions for you. And then Tessa's going to give us a reading as well. So I hand over to you, Tessa. Tell us a bit more about what's in that lunchbox and all the rest of it. Here we go.
Well, this is my book. There's an alien in my lunchbox. You can see there's my name down there, Tessa Gearing. And this person, Chris Jevons, is the person who did the illustrations. He's very good at drawing. So he did all the pictures inside the book. And they're amazing, aren't they? Look at those pictures. And this story is about a little boy who takes his favorite storybook to school to show all the other children and his teacher for show and tell. So he takes the book to school, but the characters start jumping out of the book and escaping around the school. So I wanted to write a book about what would happen if characters inside your favorite book Like, you've probably all got a favourite book at home. Just imagine if those characters jumped out and they were in your bedroom or they were in your classroom. Maybe it was a dinosaur or a monster or 50 puppies or a superhero, and they jumped out. What would happen? So that's kind of where the story came in my head.
And it is magical, and all that. There's a lot of characters in it, which is a wonderful thing. There's a lot of characters in all our minds, isn't there? So, are you going to kind of give us a reading of the whole book, or a little section of the book? What are you going to?
Well, we haven't really. Have we got time for the whole book? Probably not.
Probably. Well, I don't know how long. So we've got about sort of 3 minutes for that, I guess.
Yeah,
So let's see how far we get, and then if we haven't got time, then we'll leave it on a cliffhanger, and I'll jump in. So you go for it, and we see what happens.
Right,
so this is Tessa from There's an Alien in My Lunchbox. So here we go.
I brought my favourite storybook to school for show and tell, but characters keep jumping out. This isn't going well. There's an alien in my lunchbox. He's eaten all my grapes. I bet he eats my sandwich next. But what if he escapes? There's a witch in my PE bag. She's had a lot of fun. She's tied up all my shoelaces. I can't get them undone. A goblin sitting at my desk. She's messed up all my work. And now she's splashing paint around. The teacher's gone berserk. A ghost stuck in the toilets. He's made an awful stink. And all his ghostly burps and slime have gone and blocked the sink. Outside in the playground, a dragon's come to play. She's roaring at the little ones and scaring them away. All the characters have jumped out of the book, and it's complete chaos. What is this little boy going to do? The teacher wants to have circle time and show and tell. And he says, oh, well, bring your book. Let's have a look at it then. But there are no characters inside. What can the little boy do? He's racing around the school trying to find these characters. They're all over the place. Can he get them back inside the book? The teacher's coming back. At last we have our show and tell. I open up my book. Are all the creatures ready?
That's good. We should leave it there. That's a good spot. Leave it. There's a cliffhanger. So you know, are they ready? I don't know, children. What do you think? Are they ready? You're going to have to get the book. You have to find out. Are they all ready? That's a good moment to leave it. Look at that. Leave them wanting more. That's a fantastic. Tessa, really magical. I've got a couple of questions for you. Then we also got a couple of school questions for you, if that's okay. So this is for Hollyfield Primary School, Year 2. Hello, Hollyfield Primary School, Year 2. Have you got another book planned? If so, can you give us any clues about what it will be about?
Well, I did have another book which had characters jumping out of a book as well, which was called There's a Dragon in My Dinner. So it was a bit similar to this one. But the other one I was thinking about is called Mind Your Manners, Monsters. I like books which have good titles like that, make you think about what it could be like. So that's all about monsters completely misbehaving and having to learn how to behave properly.
That sounds good. I like that. Is that going to come? Is that a sort of on?
It's an idea that I've written. Well, it's all written, but we'll have to keep our fingers crossed.
We have to see what happens. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Here's another one. So, Tadley Community Primary School in Hampshire. Good morning, Tadley Community Primary School in Hampshire. What is your favourite book? That's a hard one, isn't it? There's a lot of books out there. Any particular one that kind of maybe it's one from when you were younger. Maybe one sort of. Did you have one when you were younger?
Well, when I was young, it was a long time ago when I was young, and there were no books like this book with pictures like this. Picture books didn't exist when I was little. They didn't have these beautiful, beautiful, beautiful pictures in like this. It was only just writing or sometimes drawing. And this was my favourite book when I was young. And it is Winnie the Pooh. And you can see There's Winnie the Pooh climbing a tree. And that's the kind of book we had when I was little. We didn't have any colour pictures. We didn't have any colour pictures in books. It was just drawings. But those drawings are so, so lovely in Winnie the Pooh. So that was my favourite book when I was your age.
Oh, the magical. My wife's a big fan of Winnie the Pooh. The wonderful Mrs. Dilly, of course. So she loves Winnie the Pooh as well. So a couple other questions for you. World Children's Day is obviously about, in part, making the world a better place for kids. This is quite a difficult question, really. If your stories, so obviously you've written this one and thinking about your future stories, if your stories could change one thing in the world for children, what would it be? That's a hard one. Any thoughts?
One thing in the world.
Yeah.
I would like my stories to think that anything is possible, and that if you just kind of think outside the box and use your imagination, anything is possible, and your wishes will come true. I think that's why World Children's Day is so important, isn't it? Because we want every child, all of you out there, we want all of you to have a really, really good start and a fair start. So that's what we want to get sorted. We want everybody to be safe and have enough to eat and go to school and be able to talk about your things. And then once we've set all that up, then it's about using your imagination and coming up with all sorts of ideas, because you're the future. You're the writers and the illustrators and the explorers.
So as you said, think outside the box, or think outside the lunchbox. Look at that. Professional. You see, just read that back. You know, that's all good.
Mr. Dilly, Mr. Dilly.
I know. It's been there. It's just been rattling around in there. Let's have another question for you. You sort of said this about why is World Children's Day important. So you kind of answered that. But as this is your first book, what kind of we generally get these questions about what inspired you to kind of start writing books. Is there anything you'd like to add? You've sort of mentioned about sort of ideas and imagination and different characters and stuff and stories, but what inspired you to start writing even this particular book, and then any sort of other inspiration was there for you?
I did, like I said before, I was thinking about what would happen if characters could come out of a book. But this particular story, I was thinking, when you started at school, all of you children out there, when you first started school and things were a bit different, weren't they? The school is quite noisy, and going to the toilet at school is a bit different to going to the toilet at home, and it's all quite different. Even eating your lunch out of a lunchbox in a hall is different to eating it at home, and sometimes that can feel a bit tricky going out in the playground. And so I felt that's kind of where it was coming from. I was thinking about in the old days when I first went to school, I hid behind a tree when I went to school because I had a little cry, and I hid behind a tree. And then I went into the school and I was fine afterwards. I just had a couple of minutes where I was a little bit worried. And so that's kind of where it came from. That and what would happen if the characters jumped out of your book.
That's brilliant. It's a wonderful book, and what I love about it is the as I said, all those characters are familiar, and they're all kind of in our minds. We kind of recognize all these things. It doesn't matter if you're old or young, really. You kind of recognize these characters, and it's a wonderful, magical book. So, Tessa, listen, thank you so much for coming on. There's an alien in my lunchbox. Oh, green screeny weird thing. There is the alien. It is out now. Do get yourself a copy. For yourselves, for your school library, for the world. It's World Children's Day. But for now, Tessa, round of applause. Come on, everybody in your classrooms. Round of applause. Tessa Gearing. Thanks very much, Tessa. Give us a big wave.
Thank you so much, Mr. Dilly. Bye-bye, everybody. Have a brilliant day.
Thanks, Tessa. Thank you very much. Look at that, Tessa Gearing there. Isn't that wonderful? So now we're going to welcome my final guest in terms of live on the show. We have another draw along. From the illustrator of my next guest book. That's a pre-record, so you can't ask any questions of my final guest, illustrator guest, but there will be another draw along, so get the pens and pencils ready for that. But before that, let's get those hands together. A little bit of this in the classrooms, a little bit of that. As we welcome my final guest, it's Smriti Halls. There we go. Hello, Smriti. How are you?
Hello. I'm very well, Mr. Dilly. Thank you for having me.
Oh, no, it's an absolute pleasure. Pleasure to have you on this World Children's Day 2024 special. So, Smriti, your book is it's a lovely, beautiful book, and I've got it over here. So believe in yourself, be you. Be you. Okay, so just like the other guests, tell us a little bit about this this book, kind of a little bit about it, and then we're going to come back, a couple of questions, and have a bit of a reading from you and a bit more questions from schools as well. So I hand over to you, Smriti. Tell us a bit more about Be You.
Well, Be You has been buzzing around in my head for quite a long time. When I was a little girl and I was growing up, I really, really, really wanted a pet. Okay. And I used to clamor, I used to pester my parents asking for a pet all the time. And I think I really, really wanted a kitten. But unfortunately, that never happened. And do you know what my parents' response was to me? Quite a lot. It was, why do you need a pet? We've got 5 hives of honeybees in the garden. And it's true, we really did have bees. My father was a beekeeper, you know, as a hobby. And so we had lots and lots of bees buzzing around. So they were sort of always around. And we ate a lot of wonderful honey that they made. And they were sort of always a kind of like backdrop in life. They were not a pet, though. I just want to warn you. They don't answer to the name of Fluffy, and you cannot stroke them. But we really did enjoy having those bees. And I have to say that as I've grown up and as we know more about the world and about how important bees are, I sort of really wanted to make them sort of the heroes, an integral part of a story that I wrote. I've written lots and lots of books, actually more than 100, but bees hadn't featured in any of them. And so I really wanted bees to be the heroes of one of my books, because they are absolutely essential to us for our ecosystem. But we also actually think of them, we associate them with being busy and smart, intelligent, and yeah, delivering us this wonderful honey.
It must have been incredible actually having those. I mean, I suppose you just get used to it, but having those. Can you imagine children having five beehives in your garden with all those bees? How many bees would you roughly would that be?
Oh, gosh, I ought to know the answer to that, shouldn't I? But it was a lot. It was a lot, yeah. And they were, just so you know, they weren't just like sort of right outside the back door. They were sort of in a separate bit of the garden. You know, you didn't sort of walk past the hives every day or anything. They were sort of in a separate bit when we lived in South Wales, in the Welsh valleys.
Oh, even that's amazing as well. So that's pretty amazing. We've got a couple of school questions for you, Smriti, and then we're reading. So this is from thank you very much, Charlene Stedman in Trithorpe School, Year R and Year 1. Thank you very much for your question. How long does it take you to write a book? So as you said, you've written a lot of books. Is there a general time it sort of takes you to write a book, or?
It is really, that's a brilliant question. It really varies. Sometimes a book just feels, somehow it just feels right. And I feel extremely excited. I kind of can't rest until I've got a first draft of that book out. So a book like this one, I'm Sticking With You, that one, it sort of wrote itself over a couple of days. It took a lot longer to kind of, you know, do the edits and get it right. But the actual story came out very quickly. But then I've written other books which I've sort of carried them around in my head for a really long time. I've known that they were going to be a book, and a few of the lines have been written in my head, but they're not ready to come out. I need to really sort of feel them inside myself a bit more. And this one, Rain Before Rainbows, was a bit more like that. I actually took a year to write that. It took me a very short time to put it on the page, but I sort of thought about it for a really, really long time before it came out. So
that's a great answer.
How long's a piece of string?
Yeah, that's a brilliant answer. Here we got a couple of other questions sent to you prior to this. So this is from Singapore. So this is IS Perdos Limited in Singapore are a big childcare company in Singapore, and they're watching today. So what they said, what makes you be an author? In the sense of, like, you know, what inspired you to be an author? Why did you want to be an author in that sense?
Do you know, I didn't even really realize that I wanted to be. Do you know, the word author, I suppose it just means a writer who has had their books published. And so there's the only difference between us is that the stories that I've written are out, you know, in this form, and you can hold them in your hands and you can read them. But I think I was always a writer. I think I was always dreaming up stories. I was always thinking about poems, and I was writing them inside birthday cards and Christmas cards, and I was imagining stories all the time and writing them. And I think a lot of the children who are watching are probably exactly the same. So if that's you, if you're somebody who loves listening to stories and then maybe writing down stories yourself, actually, when you're a little bit older, you too might be able to.
Might have all of that. This kind of leads into what you're just saying. There's another question for you, which kind of echoes what you were just saying there. So Hollyfield Primary School, Birmingham. Thank you very much, Hollyfield Primary School, Birmingham. Where do you get your ideas for your stories? You kind of mentioned this already, especially like with the bees one. But any other things that kind of like?
Oh,
is it just the thing that
just I think they're just there, aren't they? You grab a hold of them, and I think that for me, often they are funny conversations, things that have happened to me, things that I remember from the past. My name, Smriti, is a Sanskrit word and it actually means remembrance. And I think having a great memory is such a good tool for a writer. I'm often just digging into my memory and I'm remembering things that have happened, or funny things people have said. And most importantly, I'm remembering how I have felt in different situations. Sad, really nervous, really worried, and I put those feelings into my stories. So I think my ideas come from there.
That's great advice there, and great advice for children watching in terms of like, you know, thinking about your own stories, which you're going to write after today, I'm sure, at some point. Masterpieces, all of you. So can you give us a little reading from
I'm going to read you the whole thing. And of course, the title, Be You, is a bit of a pun, isn't it? Because as we said, you know, I don't know if you watchers know this, there are actually loads and loads of bees out there. There are many different kinds of species of bees. There are 20,000 different kinds of bees, different types of species of bees.
20,000?
20,000. And it makes me think of us as people. We look pretty similar, but we're very, very different. And so this is about being you with your interests.
Just one thing, Smriti. Just one thing to interrupt you. So Smriti's going to read this. We're going to go slightly over time. If you can stay with us, that's great. We've got the draw along coming up from Claire, who's the illustrator of BU, a bit later on. If you can't stay with us and you have to go, then you can come back and watch this again later on today on this same link. So just to get that in there. So I hand over to you, Smriti, for a read along. Here we go.
But yeah, I'm going to read it really fast. Okay, so this is Be You with words by me, Smriti Halls, and pictures by the very wonderful Clare Fennell. In a world full of bees, which bees will you be? The sky's the limit. Choose joyfully. Be kind. Be hopeful. Be smart. Be busy. Get yourself going. Be quick. Be whizzy. That's me, I'm afraid. I'm one of those people that likes an extra lion in the morning. Is that you too? Be thoughtful. Be careful. Be thankful. Be wise. Be ready to take the lows, with the highs. I think these bees are a bit happier. And that one's just scored a basket. And here are all the bees at home. They're all squished in there. You might sometimes feel a bit squashed in your hive. Don't get in a bumble. Count up to 5. Look after your friends. Together, you're strong. This is your crowd. You'll always belong. Be silly. Be crazy. Be friendly. Be funny. Bursting with laughter is sweeter than honey. And on days that are sticky, when feelings are tricky, I don't know if you can see in this picture, I don't think those are being very friendly. Don't bring out your sting. Just do your own thing. You don't have to follow what everyone does. Be one of a kind. Start your own buzz. You're beginning to be the bee you'll become. So sing out your song. Hum out your hum. Brighten the world with your shimmer of gold. Wear it with pride. Be brave. Be bold. Believe in yourself. Be happy. Be free. And above all, be you. The best bee to be.
Fantastic, Smriti. So, Be You is out now. So, Smriti Hawes, thank you very much for joining us this World Children's Day. Quick question for you. I meant to ask Tessa this actually earlier, which you kind of answered it, but I asked Craig and Francis, why is World Children's Day important, do you think? Just very quickly. Why do you think it's so important?
I think it's so important because actually it's a focus on kids. We spend a lot of time saying, oh, you know, let kids be kids, or, you know, telling children what to do, or, you know, sort of limiting children in many ways. And World Children's Day is a day to actually really celebrate kids and listen to them, because actually letting children be kids means absorbing, actually recognizing that children are so often the most imaginative thinkers, the most creative, the funniest, and above all, they are problem solvers. And we as adults have not done a great job with our planet. We haven't done a great job at looking after the people and the animals that live on our planet. So I think on World Children's Day and every day, we need to listen to children. We need to listen to some of the creative, inventive, empathetic solutions that children can come up with, and pay them a bit of attention, because I think, as Craig said, and I wholeheartedly agree, we're handing over to them, which actually gives me a lot of confidence. But it's a great day to celebrate all of those fantastic things about kids.
That's brilliant. Smriti, absolute joy to have you on. We're going to be watching the draw along from your illustrator Clare Fennell in a minute. But for now, Be Me is Out Me. A big round of applause. Come on, children. Round of applause. Round of applause. Smriti Hall. Thanks, Smriti. Nice to be with you today. Happy World Children's Day to you as well. Thank you very much. So Smriti Hall's there. So listen, stay with us. Stay with us. I know some of you got to shoot off. But we now have the draw along again. This is from the author, the illustrator of Smriti's book. You'll see her there. Where is it? Over here. Can't get my finger. Clare Fennell. So enjoy this. You need your pen and paper for this. And then we're kind of at the end of the show. Okay, so I'll hand over to Clare for this. Here we go.
Thanks, Mr Dilly. Hi there, I'm Clare Fennell and I'm the illustrator of Be You, which has been written by the amazingly talented Smriti Hawes. I've been illustrating books now probably for about 15 years and I absolutely love it. And I work with a mixture of collage, sometimes on the computer, but I always start off with my initial drawings. So today we're going to learn how to draw the main bee from Be You. So I'm hoping you've all got some paper and pencil or a pen. Okay. So we're going to start off by drawing the body shape, which I guess is a bit like a potato type shape. Well, that's how I draw it anyway. So we're going to start at the top. I mean, it doesn't really matter if yours ends up more round, because your bee can be how you want yours to be. Next, I'm going to draw a wing on either side. You'll have to excuse me, there's some builders outside being very noisy. And I'm going to draw a wing on this side. Okay, so we've got a wing either side so our bee can fly. And then at the top we're going to do something called the antennae, which are these bits here. So I quite like mine to be a little bit curly whirly, as I like to say. go. And next we're going to do some great big friendly eyes. So more oval shapes, really quite nice and big. Big eyes, so it's nice and friendly. And we're going to put in the black dots in the middle as the pupils. And a nice smiley smile. And then I'm going to do some eyebrows at the top. Then we're going to put some stripes in. Now the way my bee is, there we go, a bit like a stripy jumper. Now you can colour those stripes in if you like. Now a bee has 6 legs. So we're going to start off with the 2 at the top. Then 2 at the side. And 2 at the bottom. And there's our bee. And if you like, you could even add some extra stuff to it, like a hat or anything else that you want your bee to be. Back to you, Mr Dilly. Bye.
That's great. That's Clare Fennell. Thank you very much, Claire. That's a really, really good. So we have reached the end of the show today. It's been a wonderful show. I've got my kazoo here. I'm going to do a little bit of a... This is for my authors and illustrators, and a big round of applause for them and for you as well for watching today. Kind of trying to sum up a lot of my guests said today about World Children's Day, and you watching right now in your classrooms is each of us, but each of you are special. We're all completely unique, and your ideas, your kindness, your dreams, they really can. Miss Smriti said this, but all our guests said this. They really can make the world a better place if you really focus on them. And so be proud of who you are, and whatever that is. And sometimes I know we all have our off days and down days, but be proud of who you are. Help each other, most important. Listen to each other. All our guests said today, make sure you listen to each other and never stop imagining amazing things. It's all going on in there. You are the future, as all our guests said today, and you can make a difference to what happens. But it's goodbye from me, and it's goodbye from me. My name is Mr Dilly. Goodbye, my friends. Happy World Children's Day. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.